It is time for your weekly breakdown on the latest in entertainment, sports, pop culture, and all things Milwaukee. This is Nothin But The Truth with Melanie Ricks. Now streaming on 1017 The Truth YouTube with the witty banter, latest trends on social media, and hottest celebrity topics, here is Melanie Ricks.
Hey, yeah, okay, yeah, it's Wednesday, What's up, y'all? Welcome to Nothin But The Truth with Melanie Ricks. My name is Mel. In the stew, you know him, you love him, at the Jason Smith on Instagram, but he's Jason Smith in real life. What's up, Jay? How you doing?
What's up, Mel? Another beautiful, wonderful, fantastic week.
It's a lot of words.
I added a lot of little adjectives. I know.
I'm into all the adjectives. I'm very much into it. But you know what? Jason is really true to that, because whenever I talk to this man, he's just always, you're always in a good mood. I don't think I've ever seen you mad, down, depleted. Like, I'm serious. You're always so optimistic, so, like, positive, so vivacious. Where does that come from?
Listen, Mel, I'm here. You feel what I'm saying? I'm here. I get to experience this. Like, the earth is billions and billions of years old.
Facts.
We get a limited amount of time to be here.
It's true.
Why not just make the most of it while we're here?
Do you believe in, I was going to say, like, past lives. I'm just going to say that. Do you believe in, you do?
So, as in, like, the one thing, people always ask me, what do I think what happens when we die?
Yeah.
I pray and I hope. I want reincarnation. I want, because, like, I do believe that, like, yes, some stuff just don't make sense. Some stuff, it only makes sense for it to be past lives. Because sometimes I feel like I'm living in a life where I feel like decisions that have been made in my life are because of choices that I've made in past lives.
I agree. So I agree. I've seen a medium, and I don't know if you believe in mediums and all that, but, like, I do. I think that people are given certain gifts for a reason, and she, said, yeah, we do have past lives. My thing is, and I've had this conversation with my girlfriends, like, why don't we remember? Some people remember past lives, but I want to know, like, why do I feel so present right now? I feel very much like here with you right now, but I don't really remember other things, but I get intuitions about things, but it, like, kind of worries me. Like, I'm like, if we do live multiple lives, which I believe we do, I don't think that some people only come here for a very short period and that's all they get. I just don't believe that. I agree with you. I think that there are other things in our past lives that directly affect what's going on in our current. But Jason, like, explain to me that. Like, why is it that we're, like, so here right now, but a lot of us don't remember being here before?
I think you said it, because we are so in the present. I think even in our next life, we're going to be so involved in that present that we're not going to really be thinking. We're not going to know how to even think about our past lives, because we can only experience what's right in front of us. Now, when it comes to the intuitions, that's what I'm saying. Intuitions, that's something you can't explain. That's something science can't even explain. Nobody or nothing can explain intuitions. So what is that then if it ain't no past lives?
True.
What is intuition?
Right. I could not agree more with you. I can't explain intuition either, but I'm gonna tell you this much right now: when I don't listen to my gut, I regret it 9 times out of 10.
Listen to your gut.
Always.
That is some of the best advice I ever got in my life.
It's true.
Your gut will tell you the truth.
It will, and it's unexplainable. And Jason, I think for a lot of us, genuinely. So I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary The Secret. You need to watch it. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited that Jason has not seen this. I wish I could go back in time and watch that again for the first time. I think you would really enjoy it. I believe you can find it on streaming services still. It used to be on Netflix for a really, really, really long time, but originally it was a book. And essentially it's the secret of life. And they go really far back with it, and they go through all these different people throughout history who knew the secret. And the secret is such an obvious thing that the way they talk about it is interesting, because they're like, it's almost as if people want to keep it from you because it's such a simple concept, which is the law of attraction, which is thoughts become things, which is if you can tell yourself, envision yourself doing certain things, going certain places, you'll end up there. And they said all of these different people throughout history, there's a reason why they saw success. There's a reason why they had great fame or fortune or, whatever it may be. Maybe there's somebody who was successful in the medical field, or maybe they're just somebody who, was a really great entrepreneur, but whatever they may be, those people had that belief in themselves and they knew about the law of attraction. They knew to attract certain things to them, manifestation. So yeah, it's The Secret, and it's really, really good. I really recommend that you, well, first off, watch it, read it, however you want to consume it. But it also goes into the idea that everything happens for a reason, but not everybody understands that we're a lot more in control than we realize. And if you are somebody who's able to tell yourself things, you are able to make those things happen. Because we talked about this before, Jason. We're a brain, everything starts right up here. And the reason why you are able to say every day, because I'm not kidding you, every time I ask Jason how he's doing, it's the same thing, in a great mood. It's because you only allow that. Exactly. You know what I mean? You don't allow negativity to infiltrate your space. Whereas, I hate to say it, I am someone who does. And not even, I don't normally, I am a pretty positive person, genuinely. But I'm such an empath, and I'm somebody who, oh my gosh, I can feel people's energies that I don't even know whose energy it is sometimes, but I feel it. And it, attaches to me. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is, but I think that's part of, not my genetic makeup. Sorry, I don't think this is necessarily genealogy. I think it's more, this is something from my past life where I don't know what kind of person I was in a past life, but I think I was somebody who maybe helped people or was involved with being around a lot of different types of people and helping them navigate things. I don't know, Jason, but there's a lot of things that even when I was a kid, I had certain thoughts or certain feelings about things, and then they would happen. It was so weird, but oftentimes I would be like, so did I make that happen with my mind? Did I know it was going to happen? I think it's a little bit of both.
It's both.
Right. How do you feel about that concept?
Listen, Mel, you just basically explained the way I think. When you ask me how I am the way I am, it's because our mind control all of it. And you put it, I've never thought of it that way, but no, I don't allow negativity.
You don't?
Because if I feel the negativity, it's nature. It's instinctive for me to flip it to a positive.
Yeah.
I look at every situation as a glass half full. Now that's a cliche, but it's very real. What opportunity comes out of this?
Right.
Because when a problem happened, harping on the problem, don't make the problem. All they do is make the problem bigger, because now you worrying. It's a song, don't worry, be happy, because when you worry, you make it double. Everybody got trouble, but when you worry, you make it double.
Yeah.
So flip it. What's the positivity? What's the positive stuff out of it? And think like that. So yeah, and when you talking about the being an empath and stuff, I can completely understand that, because you're feeling other people's thoughts, feelings
all the time.
Especially talking about in your past life, you probably was a super empath, and now you here. Now, do you think that in this new lifetime that the universe, God, or is trying to teach you a lesson to not be so empathetic? Or do you think that that's just your calling in life, is to be empathetic?
I think it's my calling in life, because I cannot tell you how many things happen where I'm like, okay, I don't believe that was a coincidence. For example, I shared this with Jason on my way. Literally, I was in the building and I was walking down the stairs and I ran into a guy who was a numerologist. And I ran into him because he told me I was cute. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go, But then he asked me on my birthday and I'm like, okay, here we go. It's happening. Yep, he's doing this. I'm going to find a way to exit this conversation. Again, I'm an empath. So I sat there and I was like, okay, sir, here's my birthday. And not even on I'm going to allow this man to hit on me, but I can't help it. I already was involved. We made eye contact. It became a thing. And so I'm like, I'm not going to be mean. I don't want to, make this person's day bad by being that chick who just kind of turns up her nose and walks away. So it's I said, thank you. He said, you're cute. What's your birthday? And I'm like, oh gosh, you're coming at me like that.
He came on strong.
He used a strong hand for this conversation. I was like, okay. But, again, I'm like, let me just entertain this for a moment. I'm on my way out. Who cares? Or on my way downstairs. Who cares? It's fine. We're already in the building. He went on to tell me about who I was as a person, what year it is for me, the challenges I'm going through, what I'm going to continue to go through. This man was spot on. Spot on. Everything he told me was spot on. It was really weird. He told me I was an empath. He told me I feel other people's energies. He told me I'm probably in a period of my life where it's all about family. It's about community. It's about going through hard times. And he was like, people around you are experiencing hard times. You're experiencing hard times. That people are going to come to you and ask for help. You're going to have to figure out which people are good for you, which people you need to cut off. And unfortunately, this year, in my 33rd year of life, not in the year 2024, but since my birthday, which is August 8th, I have had to cut some friends out of my life because I'm realizing that certain people want to be there for me for the good, but don't want to be there for me for the not so great. You know what I mean? And that's hard because similar to the conversation we had last week about, monogamy versus being, polyamorous, which I think that there are certain friends who are the party friends. Certain friends are, the spiritual friends. They're the friends you go to when you need help. And that's fine. But when you call somebody, when you become like so immersed in somebody's life that they're one of your like best friends or closest friends, and yet you can't share certain hardships with them, I find that difficult, and that's when I have to kind of say, all right, I got to push you to the side for now because I am going through these hardships, and you're not able to go through them with me. Therefore, right now, it's not a period in life where we can be friends. That's fine. But in me figuring that out, I've been like almost feeling like, dang, like what does this all mean? What is God, the universe, what are they trying to tell me? And I think a big part of that is my empathy. And like you were asking me, do I feel like, in this lifetime, I'm meant to continue on that empathetic pathway, or am I supposed to find how to not be? I don't know how to not be. It's not possible. Like, literally, when I tell you I feel people's energies, Jason, I'm always happy when I see you. I always feel so positive. And, like, if I'm running late and Jason's like, you're good, it's fine. I'll walk in here stressed. And then as soon as I'm with you, I'm like, oh, it is fine. We're good. It's like I can feel that from you, Jason. It's so weird. So it's great when I'm around somebody like you, but then when I'm around somebody who's a little bit more toxic and I'm picking up on that, that's hard too, because it's hard not to take on that energy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's a gift that you're given, that you're able to block that out, and I think you use it for the greater good, not just for yourself, but for others, because you put that positivity that you're able to keep around you. You push that onto others, whether you realize it or not, whether it's intentional or not. I'm somebody who takes on other people's energies, and now it's up to me, okay, what am I going to do with that? You know what I'm saying? Now, is it up to me to help them, like, be the mirror to them, like, see, like, so they can see what, they're doing? Am I supposed to cut that person off? Am I supposed to teach them a lesson? Do I learn a lesson? I don't know, but with every experience, it's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that you just broke some stuff down for me, like in my head. Like, okay, now I can picture it all clearly, and that definitely explains why you are the way you are. Like, you really are empathetic.
Yeah.
I think that now, I think it's tough because it's like I am very empathetic, but I more so think that for example, people ask me what do I think my purpose in life is, and I do think it's just to inspire. Like, I think that I'm like a tool being used to inspire. Yeah. So it's like, bro, when I'm trying to, that's why, like I told you, I want a professional speak, because I want to give my mindset. Yeah. I want to help, especially people around my age. I want to help them, and especially the youth, the little kids. Right. The whole point is to program their minds because they already getting programmed by TV. They already getting programmed by social media. Yep. So why not program their minds to The Secret? Yeah. Because when you were talking about The Secret, oh my, yes, like that is The Secret. Yeah. Like, The Secret is auto-suggested. The secret is the fact that you control everything. You control your own because you tell yourself, when I go public speak, the first thing I always say is your brain simply believes what you tell it most. Yes. That's the most important thing. Yes. And that's literally what I say every single time before I get up and speak.
Yeah. So The Secret, it will resonate with you and then some. I know it is, or I know it will. So that's Jason and I. We're talking, about us specifically. But what happens when you get into a topic where one thing defines an entire group of people? And I'm not just talking a group of 20, 50, 100. I'm talking millions of people. And not just in this lifetime. I'm talking across every single lifetime that we've ever known.
That's billions of people.
Billions of people. And it's really weird when I think about that because honestly, in this moment right here, Jason, I just realized who we are as individuals. I've realized this before, but I'm just thinking like more specifically, we we have existed before as in like our type of people, you know, who I am as an individual, the things that I do in life, the decisions that I make. The only thing that's different is we have technology or, you know, we have more cars, like whatever it may be. Whereas, you know, 1,000 years ago, there was a Jason, there was a Mel, but like in a different form. You know what I mean? They were still doing and navigating life in a similar manner. For example, I'm a Leo. And Leos, I have to say, there's a lot of things that we do that are all the same, even though we are all such different individuals. Like my older brother, he's also a Leo. I feel like we are completely different people, but when you look at the characteristics of a Leo, we both check off every single thing. And I'm like, how is that possible? It's maddening because I'm like, how? I'm nothing like this man. And yet we're the exact same person because we both fall under that Zodiac sign of being a Leo. And when you say something like that to somebody, they're like, yeah, okay, sure. And then they read their own sign and they're like, wait, but how is this? It's crazy. So I want to get into our topic today, which is astrology and just how complex, but also kind of simplistic when you think about it, it is. Because I think a lot of people look at it like, oh, you know, they want to know what your birthday, your date of birth, your the time you were born, where the moon was, like all this different stuff. But believe it or not, when you know all of those specific details, it can tell you a lot about who you are. And it helps you almost understand like the person you are and why you do the things you do and maybe how you should move forward. Like as in, there may be times when you second guess, like, why is my instinct telling me that? Why is my gut telling me to go here? You second guess it and you maybe want to try to do it the opposite way and then you regret it, like we talked about before. And I feel like maybe when you know your Zodiac and you understand it, you won't second guess yourself as much because you're like, no, like this is who I am. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why I'm thinking this way. Let me lean into that. And I think, and that's why I say it's simplistic in thought. Because I don't think you have to overthink it, but so many people do because we're not taught Zodiac. We're not taught to believe that the time of year that we were born kind of like dictates who we are as individuals. I think a lot of people don't want to believe that because it's too simple. It's like, nah, that's not it. We're all unique. And yeah, we are unique. Like I said, my older brother and I couldn't be more different, but we are both Leos to the core. Do you believe in Zodiac?
This is a tough one. This is a tough subject for me. Because I went my whole life not believing in it at all.
Okay.
I used to think, man, get this mess out of my face. I don't want to read this. Like, what is this? This is not real.
Yeah.
But then, as you get older, you start talking to girls, and they asking, what's my sign? And then they telling me all these different things about the sign. And then I go and do the research myself, and I read the sign, and I read the description and the traits, and how this person, how like a Cancer is in a relationship, how they are with a friendship. And I'm like, hold on. How do they know this stuff? I think what honestly happened was I was talking to this girl, and she gave me the description. I read it. She asked me for my birth date. She asked me for the time I was born. She asked me all of that. I ended up agreeing with it all. And ever since then, I downloaded this app called CoStar. And actually, the app, I would suggest people to get it. I think it's a pretty good app.
CoStar, okay.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good app. And what the app did was it broke down daily stuff. So basically, this is how you go be feeling today, or this is how. But then I got to the point where I'm like, is this just confirmation bias? Is this real, or is this more so just me reading this and saying, oh yeah, that's me, but it's really not me? That's the problem. That's the confusion that I have with it.
And I definitely understand that because I think when you think astrology, people, I don't know, it's almost like they think they affiliated with like voodoo or something. I don't know. It's weird.
They think, because like I know growing up, I'm like, is this the devil?
Yeah. I mean, growing up, I was so Harry Potter was the devil. I still read them books, okay? I was at all the midnight signings. No, but like real talk, Zodiac, well, astrology, I'll call it that. But either way, astrology, it really comes from looking at like things in nature and understanding that
believe it or not, nature is a huge part of who we are and what makes us us. And I mean, we are one with nature. We really are. Like a lot of people, I think, you talk about evolution. I believe in evolution, but like I don't think I believe in it in the sense that others do, because there was a point in time when people were like, okay, it's either God or evolution. And I think they both exist. I think it's a coexistence, but like not to the degree that we were taught it. You know what I mean? I think it's way different, but I also think a lot of time has passed where people have changed the story and changed, what
things mean, and they've defined it differently than they did maybe 1,000 or 5,000 years ago. But when I look up, like, where does Zodiac come from? The Babylonians. That's what they say the origin. That's what they say the origin is. The Babylonians, they say, divided the sky into 12 equal sections or signs, each with a name, a figure, and a meaning. And these signs had similar names to those used today, such as the lion, the scales, etc. And again, going back to the evolution, it's evolved because eventually the Babylonian system was passed on to the Greeks, and then eventually it was passed on to others, and it evolved into what we know today as the horoscopic astrology system. So you are a Cancer.
I'm a Cancer.
You're a Cancer. Do you believe that your sign defines you?
I honestly believe that my sign defines me perfectly.
Why?
However, they got some stuff in here that I actually don't agree with.
Oh.
Because like they be making moody. So for example, I'm gonna read off some of the positive and negative traits.
Yeah.
So the first positive trait, okay, emotional and intuitive. My intuition is crazy. I feel like it's crazy. So I definitely agree with that. I'm very in tune with my emotions. Like I am. Like I'm always aware of how I'm feeling, and I can dictate most of the time how I'm feeling. Loyal. Oh man. I'm loyal. Definitely. Because especially and protective over the people I love. Like once I got you, I got you.
Yep.
Caring, nurturing, all of that. Creative, imaginative, all of that.
Yep.
Family oriented, all of that.
Yep.
But then we get to the negatives.
Uh-oh.
And they start saying moody. I don't believe I'm moody. I honestly don't. Now, if they like mood swings, I personally don't believe I have mood swings.
Okay.
Now, somebody else's perspective, I may have mood swings because, like, I mean, I can't turn it on and off as in, I could be super energetic, but I could turn it off and not talk and be as chill as can be very easy.
Yeah.
So maybe that counts as a mood swing. I don't know. Overly sensitive. I don't know if I'm overly sensitive. Now, I'm an emotional person. As we talked about, I express my emotions and stuff. But I don't know if it's over the top.
Yeah.
But, however, all in all, I do believe that the Cancer, I think it describes me perfectly. I cannot lie to you.
One of the things that you didn't say is that Cancers have a fear of vulnerability. Mm-hmm. It says they can be afraid to share their pain with others, and they may pretend to be okay when they're not. So it's ironic that you had the reaction that you did to the moody, to the oversensitive, because that's fear of vulnerability.
Precisely. Precisely. So we're talking about something I do have a problem with is being vulnerable because I don't want to put I don't want to put anything I'm going through on somebody else.
Right.
So it's like, no, you good, everything good, it's good. So I think maybe that is, here we go, a therapy session.
Yeah, that happens. Listen, I told you I'm an empath, dog, and I'm here to help everyone, okay? No, but I do feel like it's so easy for this to turn into therapy because it's interesting. It really gets you thinking about who you are and like just why your life is the way it is. But I feel like in you knowing who you are, it's only going to better yourself and the people around you. You know what I mean? When I look at, first off, yes, I'm a Leo. Through and through, no question. Absolutely, I am. There's a lot of different things that they say define it. Some of the traits include loyal, like you said, honest, theatrical, kind, big-hearted,
attention-seeking, dramatic, egotistical, which that is one. I don't think I'm egotistic. Genuinely, I don't. I really don't. Like, you know what, Jason, was funny? I wish I was, honestly, because I think, well, you got to have a balance. But I was going to say, I think a lot of people with big egos, they don't they don't let people walk all over them. And not that I do that. I guess I don't do that. Hold on, that's a bad way to put it. People who are egotistical, I think they get their way a lot, but like in a good way, where it's like, you're going to push for that raise, or you're going to push for that opportunity, or you're going to, kick that door down and show people who you are so that you can, get a certain platform. I think I do things like that, but I'm not egotistical. But I kind of wish I was, if that made sense. Like, just more assured myself and confident. I don't know.
I feel like you don't talk your stuff enough.
That's what I mean.
That's what I feel like.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It's hard to do that, though. But it also says that they can be touchy, domineering, known for being born natural leaders who enjoy cultivating friendships and romances that are artistically and creatively inspired. I definitely feel like I'm all of those things. I am 100% a Leo. Like, I'm such a Leo, it's not even funny. And I think that knowing the traits, it definitely helps me a lot. I've been this way since I was a child. Who I am now is who I have always been. And I think that it's kind of fun to find out what other people's signs are. I don't necessarily like it when people let it dictate their friendships and their relationships. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm not going to be on a date, and if you tell me that you're a certain sign, if you're a Sagittarius, and I'm like Googling on my phone, do we match? And it says, no, I'm not going to end the date. But there are people who do. So, like, there's the pros and the cons to Zodiac culture. I'm curious, have you ever, like, had somebody not, like, call you back or, like, you know what I mean? Like, hit you back up? Did they ghost you because you're a Cancer and they're like, nah, we're not compatible?
I used to have that fear. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Because on social media, all I'm seeing is everybody clowning Cancers, talking about their crybabies and stuff. So
Yeah.
I used to, when I was younger especially, I used to be a little afraid. I'm like, man, I don't even want to tell this girl my sign.
Right.
I'm gonna tell her my sign and she not gonna mess with me no more.
Right.
But I've never had like a girl not talk to me because of my sign.
Yeah.
But I've talked to a girl and I could notice that she was going off of Zodiac sign. So basically she was like looking at me and analyzing me and analyzing my every moment, every movement, every emotion, and she was attaching it to Zodiac. So she was viewing me through the lens of being a Cancer. And I think that's the problem. Like, you have to be able, like, you can believe in the Zodiac stuff, but once you start viewing the person as, okay, you're a Cancer, so now everything you do is like, because you could have, for example, she had a negative view of being a Cancer.
Yeah.
So if everything you already thinking about a Cancer is negative, and I'm a Cancer, so now you overanalyzing everything I'm doing to fit into that box, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, and I don't think you should do that. It's kind of like if somebody were dating you and they treated you as if you're a radio personality, or as if you're a producer or a public speaker. Like, what does that even mean?
I don't want none of that. Treat me like Jason.
There it is. And that, that kind of goes back to my point, Jason, of what I said about how astrology, as much as I believe in it, it can be a little confusing just because I'm like, how is it that, all these Leos, we all have the same, traits, but yet I feel like we're also different. You know what I mean? And I think that that's where it's like, okay, well, who is Jason? Who is Mel? Like I said before. And I agree. You shouldn't go into a situation treating somebody like what the cover is. Like, you see somebody and, you're with an athlete and you date you talk to them a certain way because they're an athlete, but it's like they're more than just that. That's just the surface of who they are. Like, the surface is that you're a Cancer. Great. Now they know that about you. I actually think I would use it more as a guide for, if we're having a discussion or if we're having an argument or if I'm not understanding why you are feeling the way you are. Like, maybe I would use it in that way, but I wouldn't use it as like the I don't know, the jump off. Like, I wouldn't be like, okay, he's a Cancer, therefore I'm gonna act like this or I'm gonna navigate it like this. Like, no, I don't think it's like that. I don't think you should, but I don't think it's bad to know that they're capable of certain attributes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's bad to know, but I don't think you should prejudge. You know what I mean? Because that's, you're being prejudiced then. Like, yeah, don't treat people like they're their sign because they're not just their sign.
Because paranoia go creep in, like how you just said. Because now everything that I do, for example, with the girl, everything that I do, now you paranoid about what I'm doing because you thinking whatever you thinking in your head.
Right.
And I think that you had a good point of saying you were going to use the Zodiac information as a way to kind of communicate, as a way to better communicate.
Yeah.
Because if I'm talking to somebody who they're not, empathetic. Okay, now I understand that you're not going to see it the way that I see it. So now I have to paint it a different picture for you to understand it. I like that aspect of it. But I think some people just get too enthralled with it, and then they just feel like this is everything. This explains everything.
Well, they let it dictate, like it's their guide, it's their North Star. Like that's the only way that they navigate life through Zodiac. And I agree, I don't believe in that because there's so much more to it. The numerologist I ran into today, like that wasn't a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, ran into him for a reason, and I told him about the show. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go record a podcast, and we're going to be talking all about Zodiac. And he was like, that's pretty funny because, you know, when you look at the different sciences, arithmetic, that's numbers, numerology, and they say Zodiac, that's one of the last sciences. And so he was like, they go hand in hand. And I don't think, you know, Jason and I, we were talking before about religion. I don't think, you know, there's one way or there's one view. I think that there's a lot of different ones. But I think that they all end up saying very similar messages and they all fit under the same umbrella. But I also think that life is just so complex. I don't think we could explain it with just one vocation. Like, I don't think we can only explain it with astrology or numerology. Like, I think there's so many different ways to explain life and why we do what we do and, you know, just navigating things. But do you think we take it too far? Do you think that, you know, Zodiac culture or astrology culture takes it too far? Because there are literally people who, like I said, like that's how they live their lives. Like you said that you were reading your horoscope. There are people who make every decision based on what their daily horoscope says. So like, is that taking it too far? Like, how do you balance that?
I think that's taking it way too far.
Yeah.
I think that it's cool. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I do think it's cool. I think that it's fun to look at. I think it's fun to learn because you understand yourself better.
Yeah.
But you cannot treat this mug like it is everything. And I think that's when people take it too far. Especially like if they read in, like say they read in a horoscope or something and it don't happen. Like whatever was supposed to happen that day, however they were supposed to feel that day, don't happen.
Yeah.
Now what? Because, like, I remember one time I was reading it and it said something like, I'm going to spill some coffee or something like that. I'm talking getting down to the T.
Yeah.
And I ain't spilled no coffee.
Right.
Now, if I was somebody who lived my life going off of Zodiac, now I can start thinking, oh, man, what's going on? I was supposed to spill my coffee today and I didn't spill my coffee. Like, no, that's when I think that it gets taken too far. But I don't think majority of the world is like that. I'm not going to lie. Like, I've only had probably about 2 girls who really go super, super, super deep into it. Other than that, I think people, like, they more casually tap into it.
I genuinely don't think you read this before we had this conversation, but I want to read something to you about Cancer because something else that used to confuse me, depending on the publication or depending on the source, like it says slightly different things. But again, I think it's hard to just say, all right, give me 3 descriptive words for 1 billion people. Like, you can't do that.
Like what?
Right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a whole bunch of different definitions. But in this particular article, Cancer, represented by the crab, Cancer seamlessly weaves between the sea and shore, which we're going to talk about the water thing you said earlier, representing Cancer's ability to exist in both emotional and material realms. Cancers are highly intuitive. Their psychic abilities manifest in tangible spaces, but just like the hard-shelled crustacean, this water sign is willing to do whatever it takes to protect itself emotionally. In order to get to know this sign, you're going to need to establish trust.
Ooh.
That describes you to a T.
Ooh.
And you used a water analogy because I was asking Jason, how is it that you're just so chill? I was like, I'm worried about everything. I overthink about everything. I need to control everything. Like, that's me. That is my makeup and then some, okay? And Jason said he described himself as water.
Yes.
And this literally says Cancer seamlessly weaves between the sea and the shore. I'm represented by the crab. I'm just saying, and I don't think you read this.
I ain't know nothing about that.
I know.
That's crazy.
I
But
know.
yes, no, flow like water.
Yeah.
I was explaining to you how everybody should flow like water. Nothing can stop water. You can put a dam in the water. You can put a big boulder. You can put a rock. You can do whatever you want. I was explaining to you how I had a leak in my apartment and I kept trying to patch it up, do stuff, and no matter what, the water kept coming out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's nothing you can do to stop water. There's nothing you can do to stop the flow.
Right.
So just be in it. Act like you a boat. You on a boat on the ocean and you just there forever.
Right.
That's life.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish, Jason. That's a gift. Like that is so. It's easier said than done. So this same article about the Leo, it says, roll out the red carpet because the Leo has arrived. Passionate, loyal, and infamously dramatic. Leo is represented by the lion, and these spirited fire signs are the kings and queens of the celestial jungle. They're delighted to embrace their royal status. They're vivacious, theatrical, and fiery. Leos love to bask in the spotlight and celebrate, well, themselves. And I love celebrating me. I love my birthday. I think I'm really special, but I don't like to really publicly celebrate myself, if that makes sense. Like anytime it's my birthday and I don't make a big deal out of it, I get so sad, but I feel like people don't want to celebrate me. It's fine. But then like when I celebrate me, when I go all out and I'm like, it's my day, it's me. I'm so happy. I'm like in my element. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like I have, like, a weird inner battle sometimes, and I actually think that's my past life self kind of in turmoil with who I am as a Leo. So maybe I wasn't a Leo in the past life, and my past life is struggling with the fact that I am a Leo now in this life because, like I said, like the empath in me wants to make sure everybody else feels good. It wants to, not have the attention on me because it's not about me. It's about y'all being okay and being comfortable. And it's so weird because it's a juxtaposition that I battle with pretty much on the daily. But it's spot on. Like, I love making everything about me. I want everything to be about me. I'm not gonna lie. If I, had a me wallpaper in the back secretly, I would love it. I would be like, oh, that's too much. Stop. Keep it up. Don't take it down. But stop. Make sure you can get my good side. Like, I'm literally that you know what I mean? It's so interesting. So, yeah. Like
I need that article.
You do? I got you.
Yeah, you need to send me that article.
I got you.
Because that's just too crazy.
It's spot on, right? It's spot on. I know. I love it. I got you. I'll send it to you. But I do think that it can be fun. It can be fun to, like, make Zodiac as part of your life. But, Jason, you said some signs, pun intended, about, like, people taking it too far. But I also agree, like, it can be a fun thing. It can be a tool. It can be a resource, like, something to use as a guide, but maybe don't have it be the only thing that guides you. Because when you do that,
then it's almost like religion, where you're saying this story is what it is. This is what the Bible says, so I'm going to do exactly that. I think the Bible's a little bit more metaphorical than people want to believe, and I understand it. When we were children, we were taught that the Bible was the word, and that's it. You heard. The bird is the word. Well, the Bible is the bird. And that's what it was when we were growing up. Like, people were taught that whatever is in the Bible, whatever the Testament says, old or new, that's what you're supposed to abide by. As I've gotten older, Jason, I'm telling you right now, when I read that Bible, I'm like, ain't no way this happened. This is not even humanly possible. He didn't do that. He didn't say that. They didn't even have those. And so I really do believe that the Bible is filled with metaphors because everyone's point of view is going to be a little bit different. And I think that you're meant to read this thing and apply it to your own life. It doesn't mean that your life should look exactly like that thing because I don't think that's possible. And we live in a different time. I'm sorry, but the Bible was written when there were, pyramids everywhere and, sand roads. Like, we have so much different infrastructure. We have different technologies. People have evolved. I'm talking to y'all right now, and y'all are watching this through a screen, or you're listening to this on your phone. They didn't have phones back then. Like, so much has changed. How dare we try to make our lives in the year 2024 the way the life was in AD 1400. I'm just saying.
Man, what you are, right? You preaching up there. That's what you're doing. Because it's like, I think the problem is it's hard for people to place themselves back in that time.
Right.
We are viewing everything, like we're reading this from 2024. You got to place yourself back.
Right.
Thousands of years ago.
Yes.
When they had none of this.
Right.
They didn't know about technology. The sciences was not the same. They didn't know what was going on really.
Right.
Like they was now what they were doing were trying to explain what they were witnessing.
Yes.
That's what they were doing, and they were trying to do it in a story way. All this is oral tradition.
There it is.
The only way, even today, we all just storytellers. If I'm trying to get a message across to you, I'm gonna put it in a story. I just got done telling 5 stories about girls talking about the Zodiac sign because that's our mode of communication.
Right.
That's all they were doing back then. And it started off just orally. We were just talking.
Yep.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, like, this is a story.
Yeah.
However, it's about the deeper meaning within the story, not the actual story.
Correct.
I know that Dr. Seuss is a little controversial now, but like, I mean, even the way that he story told, or William Shakespeare, like William Shakespeare, really read his writings. They don't make a lot of sense, but like they're metaphorical. You know what I'm saying? Like Romeo and Juliet, that story has been retold. So, you know how many times Hollywood has done Romeo and Juliet, but called it something different?
Bro.
Oh my goodness. Hamlet, that's been done so many different times. Like there's so many different stories, but they don't call it that. But the message is still the same. Cain and Abel from the Bible. Like there's so many different stories, but you just put a different context on it, or you put it into a different year, use different characters, but it's still going to be the exact same message. And I feel like no matter what, we have to understand that's what life is all about. Figuring out with these metaphorical
Stories. I like that you call it stories because that's what it was. It's like one big giant game of telephone. It was all oral, or they wrote it in hieroglyphics. You know what I mean? They drew the things. And then people had to figure out what that meant 100 years later or 1,000 years later. Like, I'm sorry, we don't even have that animal anymore. So let me try to apply it to what I see around me right now.
Exactly.
And that's exactly it. The stories have evolved. And I think too many people are so, like, married to this word. But the New Testament, y'all, depending on which version you get, the word is not even the same word. Literally, not figuratively, literally. The words are not the same. They don't match. Look at the Bibles. They are not the same. But you're telling me that these were all written by the same people? So,
No.
So did the publisher change it? Like, I mean, really, though. So I think it's about applying it in your own way, applying it to your situation, applying it to the year that you live in, and understanding that the way that they were reading the Bible 1,000 years ago, even though it's the same Bible from 1,000 years ago, it's not the same way that we read it now. And that's okay, because they didn't have what we have now. It's not possible for us to apply it in the exact same manner. I know people are going to be mad about that, but it's true. It's the truth.
If they get mad, listen, people get mad at the truth all the time. I
Yes,
think
they do.
that's like when people hear the truth, they get mad. So and you are just spot on. Like the Bible, it's a beautiful. I think it's the greatest story ever
Yes, I
written.
agree.
Like, are you kidding me right
I agree.
now?
I
Like
agree.
the depth,
I agree.
it's mind blowing.
Yes.
However, I think that people have to detach from the literal sense of it.
Yep.
And appreciate it for what it is.
Yes.
And it's a story. It's giving us guidelines on how to live our life.
Yep.
It's telling us different ways in which we should live our life. And when they're talking about getting closer, it's giving us tools and ways to get closer to God.
Yep.
But the problem is what happens is people use that for fear.
Yeah.
And now they flip it. And like,
Right.
if you don't do this, you're not going to know God. And you want to know. And it's like, bro, a lot of these same stories, like you were saying, are written in different for example, the Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
That is in every religion got a flood myth, a flood story.
Yes.
So, like,
Yes.
you mean to tell me all of these flood stories literally happened? Or did a flood happen and all of these different religions just wrote their own story, their own POV about it?
Exactly. 100%. And I think that religion, I think numerology, I think astrology, they all kind of flow together.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes, they're all interconnected. The synergy is there. I don't think it's a coincidence that I ran into this numerologist.
No.
My mind was, Jason.
That is just too coincidental. And in fact that we've been having it, that's too coincidental. The fact that I'm talking right when you walk in, that he talking about this?
Jason and I have known for weeks that we were going to do this show
Weeks?
on this day. What are the odds? So, yeah, that's why listen, I stopped believing in coincidence a long time ago.
No coincidence. Everything happened the way it's supposed to happen.
There it is, right there. And we were meant to be here.
Here talking to y'all today. Hope y'all enjoyed this show. Let us know your thoughts on astrology, on the Zodiac. Do you feel like Zodiac culture has it gone too far? Do you allow it to help guide you? Does it dictate your life? Does it, decide whether or not you're going to go on a date with somebody or whom you're going to be, in a relationship with, who you're going to be friends with, who you spend your time with? Let us know. And I want to know like how you feel about Zodiac. And I want to hear if your Zodiac sign, what you read about it, if it applies to you in your situations. I've never met anyone who has said they are not their sign. Never. Not one person. So I would love to hear what y'all think about this. Really appreciate y'all being a part of the conversation. Jason, appreciate you always. Producer extraordinaire.
Voicemail, thank you.
My guy. Hey, we'll see y'all next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Nothing But The Truth with Melanie Ricks. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.